just as if they were math equations. Shannon figured out that electrical circuits could execute these logical operations using an arrangement of on-off switches. To perform an AND function, for example, two switches could be put in sequence, so that both had to be on for electricity to flow. To perform an OR function, the switches could be in parallel, so that electricity would flow if either of them was on. Slightly more versatile switches called logic gates could streamline the process. In other words, you could design a circuit containing a lot of relays and logic gates that could perform, step by step, a sequence of logical tasks. A relay is simply a switch that can be opened and shut electrically, such as by using an electromagnet. The ones that clack open and close are sometimes called electromechanical because they have moving parts. Vacuum tubes and transistors can also be used as switches in an electrical circuit. They are called electronic because they manipulate the flow of electrons but do not require the movement of any physical parts. A logic gate is a switch that can handle one or more inputs. For example, in the case of two inputs, an AND logic gate switches on if both of the inputs are on, and an OR logic gate switches on if either of the inputs is on. Shannon's insight was that these could be wired together in circuits that could execute the tasks of Boole's logical algebra. When Shannon returned to MIT in the fall, Bush was fascinated by his ideas and urged him to include them in his master's thesis. Entitled A Symbolic Analysis of Relay and Switching Circuits, it showed how each of the many functions of Boolean algebra could be executed. It is possible to perform complex mathematical operations by means of relay circuits, he summed up at the end. This became the basic concept underlying all digital computers. Shannon's ideas intrigued Turing because they neatly related to his own just-published concept of a universal machine that could use simple instructions, expressed in binary coding, to tackle problems not only of math but of logic. Also, since logic was related to the way human minds reason, a machine that performed logical tasks could, in theory, mimic the way humans think. Working at Bell Labs at the same time was a mathematician named George Stibitz, whose job was to figure out ways to handle the increasingly complicated calculations needed by the telephone engineers. The only tools he had were mechanical desktop adding machines, so he set out to invent something better based on Shannon's insight that electronic circuits could perform mathematical and logical tasks. Late one evening in November, he went to the stockroom and took home some old electromagnetic relays and bulbs. At his kitchen table, he put the parts together with a tobacco tin